Coming to you from the studios at the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66, it's the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.
Roll Chicago, rock and roll Chicago, my hometown. Well, I was born in the city, gonna rock your city, Chicago. Chicago rock and rollers are the best year ever around.
Hey everybody, it's Ray the Roadie.
And this is Hollywood Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you been?
I just flew in from Toronto, Canada.
Oh, your arms are tired, aren't they?
Oh yeah, just a little bit. But see, you missed it. That was you.
Did you? So did you bring back some Canadian bacon or?
No,
No,
not at all.
Nothing. No souvenirs.
Just a little Canadian money, which isn't worth it.
Not really. No. No. So it's snowing up there, huh?
Yeah, it was, and cold.
And it's cold here too. It's getting better.
Yeah.
So did you bring anybody with to interview tonight?
I sure did. I brought a hurricane with me from Canada.
There was a hurricane.
Yeah, that's
Whoa.
right. At least we're here.
Wow.
We've got the Hurricane Project here sitting in the studio tonight, and I'm excited for this one because I have a feeling this is going to be a good interview. It really is. So sitting right over here, we have the man himself, the Muffin Man, Mr. Jeffrey Ruffin.
Good evening.
And we have Al Hurricane Spears sitting next to him.
Two hurricanes here?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hey, everybody.
He's the Hurricane. He is the Hurricane.
The big win.
Yes. And we got this dude over here. We have Melvin Holmes. Melvin, I got to tell you, around the studio, you've got a nickname that you probably don't even know yet, but everybody wants to know, who's that guy that shows up with Al and plays guitar every once in a while? And everybody's like, oh, which one are you talking about? And they're like, that smooth guy, that really smooth guy.
Oh, wow. That's Melvin Too Smooth Holmes.
They either call him Smooth or they started calling him Mel.
Too Smooth Holmes, man.
That's right.
Good evening.
And you are sitting in the vicinity of the GOAT right over there, Mr. Herman Hines.
Yeah, real goat. Thank you.
Boy, what a crowd, man. Y'all got a nice crowd.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
in-studio audience. Thank you, everybody.
That's right. And, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, one of the things I want to do in this interview is, we go way back and a lot of people know who you guys are and you guys have been playing around in the area a long time, but I don't think everybody knows exactly your backstory and where everybody came from. And I know you all got some interesting stories. And so I figured we'd start there and we might as well start with the man, Mr. Al Hurricane himself.
All right. We can do that. Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it. And I've probably been involved in music probably about 29 years. It started off as a hobby for me. I remember working for this Fortune 500 company. I ain't gonna say no name because I don't know. Anyway, and I needed a hobby. And a friend of mine brought a guitar to work. And he said, hey, man, I got to get rid of this guitar. You ever played the guitar before? And I said, no, man, but bring it in, So he brought it in and, I got the guitar and took it home and didn't even know how to hold the doggone thing, man. I had the thing backwards and I was hugging it like it was my wife, that kind of thing, And so that was 28, 29 years ago.
What was the guitar?
It was an Ibanez Road Star Series 2.
Never forget the first one.
Right.
And, I'm a tinkerer. So, I didn't know how to play the guitar. So what did I do? The first thing I did was I took the guitar apart because I wanted to see how it worked. And, that's the honest to God. So, and then it just started from there. I met a guy, Nick Laramie. Real good friend of mine who was also a good friend of the guy, Ernie Giamatti, that gave me that Ibanez guitar. And Nick invited me to a place on Western on the north side because he wanted to see this guitar. And so, get up, go down there. And I could only play in two keys at this time, and that was A and G. And on break, Nick gets off stage, come down, he looks at the guitar and he's, that's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah. And he goes back up and then he calls me up on stage, and I'm like, I ain't getting up there. And it was probably about 600-700 people in that arena. and he called out the key of F. And I could only play an A and G.
First of all, nobody should do that to anybody. Get you on the stage and call out the key of F. We were at a jam one time and a harmonica player comes up and says, you know, we're going to play in the key of F. We all look at him and go, F.
He actually said the key of love. And I go, okay, ain't no L. Right? So anyway, you know, and I got on stage. The bass player showed me what a fingering was, you know, and I've been playing guitar every day since. Even when I would travel for work, I took a guitar with me, and started a band with a couple of guys, Twisting the Groove Machine. Jeff was the drummer in that band, and I don't know, we played together probably 20 years.
13 to 20.
Yeah, somewhere along, you know, we all old, so we forget at times stuff. You know, all of the real working musicians, the friends and stuff, you know, that I know and that I hung out with kept telling me, Al, man, you need to start your own thing, you know? And I was like, but I don't sing, you know? And they was like, well, you just learn how to sing, just like you learned how to play the guitar. And I was like, I don't like my voice, you know? And then I found out most singers don't like their voice anyway, but anyway.
Most people don't like their voice when they get it recorded.
Wait till you hear this podcast.
Oh boy.
You're never going to talk in public again.
Can I get this? We might have to edit a whole lot.
That's what I said, and I'm still doing it.
Just take me out. And so, you know, I thought about it. The harmonica, it's actually 7 pieces in the Hurricane project. We got 2 guitar players, bass, drums, Herman on vocals, killer harmonica player, Tony Medina, and keyboard and a horn player, Jeff Choates. That's the full Hurricane project. So depending on the gig, you know, I bring everybody, and, you know, sometimes we do a 4-piece, sometimes we do a 5-piece, you know, whoever can't make it, can't make it. And I was fortunate enough to check off, you know, one of my dreams was to have music, pay my way overseas, and, you know, that's happened. So our next journey with the Hurricane Project is to be on the Chicago Blues Fest. Keep your fingers crossed. We'll probably be on it this year. But these guys right here, Jeff Ruffin, Melvin Too Smooth Holmes, Herman the Godfather Hines, Jeff, I call him White Chocolate. Don't edit this either. And Tony Mississippi Sax. That's the Hurricane Project. That's our musical family. And, you know, I'm probably going to keep doing this as long as I can, you know?
Right.
You know, I done been somewhere everywhere, and I done did some of everything. So I'm blessed.
He's being a little modest too, because his playing and the people that he's played with and the places that he's played, I mean, it reads like a who's who. All you got to do is go to his Facebook page and look at his pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So you guys are basically like a real Hurricane. You've got your category 3, you got your category 4, your category 5 when you're all together.
We try to take the roof off of places when we play.
There you go.
and you know, we're not a scripted band. You know, I think we have fun. We're not a scripted band. You ain't gonna hear no note for note songs. You know, we might grab a groove, man, and we make it our own. You know, we like having fun. You know, and that's what it's about. I don't think none of us, we never got into it, you know.
We're too old to get into it.
Yeah. You know, we use that F word a lot. Oh, fuck you. Like Herman called me the other day. And he left this message on my voicemail. And I listened to it like I was on another call, and you know, so I listened to it a little while later after I got done with that call, and he goes, I ain't leaving. Because, you know, your voicemail say leave a message, right? You know? I died laughing.
To be honest, I didn't know I was being recorded.
Right.
Yeah, but I guess that little beep sound came up real quick. So caught me off guard. And so, he said, always said, leave a message. I ain't leaving nothing. So I was texting. As soon as I texted, he answered.
Well, you can text while you're on the phone. But I love these guys. I love these guys right here, and they're my musical family.
I'm going to ask you a question that everybody asks me. And every time they ask me this question, I say, well, why don't you go ask him? I mean, because I don't know the answer. Go ask him. And I don't want to name drop or nothing like that, but I can't tell you how many times people have come up to me and asked me, how do you know Toronzo Cannon? How did you meet him?
I met Toronzo Cannon at the Harlem Avenue Lounge. They host a jam there. So, and by the way, most of these guys I met at the jam night.
Right.
I met Toronzo at Harlem Avenue along with Mike Wheeler and, Dave Spector and all those guys. They come out and they hang out, you know, and, we just got talking gear.
Right.
Right. And he'll tell you me and Mike Wheeler is probably his only pallbearers. I ain't going to get into why, but that's my buddy. I just talked to him yesterday.
Right.
Yeah. That's one of my good friends. We look out for each other. We call each other when they on some dumb stuff,
Right.
We do that, just like family,
That's good.
Yep.
And
Harlem Avenue Lounge.
And Mr. Ruffin,
Yes, sir.
tell us about yourself.
Well,
Now, I've actually had the privilege of playing with him. He's filled in for Tom Dixon and Cadillac Groove a couple times. Done shows with him.
right now, I am doing wonderful. Life has been good.
He's got a Subway sandwich in his belly.
That's right. Yes, it is. Sandwich? Teriyaki chicken. Yes, sandwich with an M. But I grew up in Chicago, originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. Home with the Buckeyes, the Ohio Players, and a few others. But growing up in Chicago, playing Chicago blues, took me a minute to learn it. My first blues experience was with Billy Branch and the Sons of Blues. I was the original drummer. Did my first recording with them with... I was skinny. You can tell life's been good.
These are studio quality monitors. We can hear all that stuff.
Back when that dude was skinny.
You got to leave the room if you're going to whisper.
But anyway, they did a write-up about us in Chicago Blues Legends or something like that. And that's where the skinny picture came in. So
Your name is mentioned in that book.
yeah, one of the magazines, I forgot which one. I got it in my car, both copies. And I'm not vain, but it doesn't happen often, so I enjoy it. I've been on the blues circuit 59 years.
Wow.
I feel like I'm 12 sometimes. And here we are here in Joliet. I came to Joliet in 78 with JoJo Murray and the Top Flight Band.
JoJo.
Yeah, we had some good times here in Joliet. And I was still here up until 4 years ago. I said, it's time to move on. So Bolingbrook. They call it Boringbrook, but it suits me fine. I'm not the runaround type anymore. I didn't get too old and too broke down. But I say life is good.
But you're still one of the best drummers around here.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
I don't try hard though. It just comes natural. That's the gift that the Father gave me, and I pass it on.
Right.
It's all about love and truth.
Right.
It's a lot about the work you put in it too.
Well, I did all that when I was young.
But well, that's history. So yeah, it's like you done spoiled me for other drummers. Yeah. Other drummer come up, like it's like, oh, okay, he don't feel what. Well, anyway, Herman Hines.
Yes.
Wasn't your time.
Oh, you still on? Okay. No, so sorry.
I'm done. The mic is all yours.
Oh, okay.
So he's the lead singer of the Hurricane Project, y'all. That so he's used to having a mic in front of him.
And just like a lead singer, he came in too early.
I'm just a drummer.
Well, you got to remember though, I'm still learning, so I got to find out where to come in at. So usually I give them the signal to let them know I'm coming in, rather than just coming in.
Right. So I want to go way back. I want to go way back with you, Herman.
Woo! I can go way back.
Because I will say one thing about the first time that I met Herman. I was playing in a band called the Bubba Fats Blues Band.
Bubba Fats.
And we were playing at the in the bar at the Strike and Spare 2 over there. And I was warming up on guitar, and I was playing the intro to Voodoo Child. And in walks this man that filled the doorway. And he says, I just had to come in here and see what was going on because somebody was warming up with some Jimi Hendrix. And the piano player in the band at the time was a guy named Ray Spar.
Did he have a Subway sandwich with him?
He did not. He did not. But he was carrying a bowling ball. And Ray says to me, he taps me on the shoulder and he says, oh, you got to let this guy come up and sing with us. You've never heard singing like this before. And he came up and he did like the first half a set with us, and we were a different band when he joined us. We really were.
And a phone booth, baby, number scratch up on the wall. And a phone booth, baby, number scratch up on the wall. Due to Chicago.
And I don't know if you remember that or not, but man, that was like about 25 years ago or something like that. That was.
Bubba, did he play the Arrow, Albert King Arrow guitar?
Flying V.
Flying V.
Well, we used to have Jimmy J was his name.
Right.
Would sit in with us.
I remember. I played with him.
Right. And Jimmy J would sit in with us a little bit. And,
Jimmy J from Indiana.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was my buddy.
Jimmy J was. I mean, he was actually my mentor on guitar. When I first met him, for some reason we hit it off, and he would send me phone messages all the time, and he would just be humming. He'd be going like do 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 do, and he goes, learn this scale.
Yeah. That's
what. Yeah.
Jimmy J was Albert King's nephew.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was just getting ready to say that.
Yes, he was.
And
So
he was. Yeah, he had some stories about Albert King, but I can't really. I don't want to be disparaging because he would say Albert would. He said sometimes like he could be a little mean. He said he'd tell me to learn a song, like he'd show me something, and next time he'd come by and I know it, and he'd get mad, like give me my guitar.
and that's exactly what he used. That's exactly what he used to do to me. He would say, learn this. And then I'd see him and I'd play it with him. He wouldn't get mad at me, but then he'd give me something else.
Yeah.
He became a mentor for sure. But during that time, were you still working? Were you retired at that time?
Oh, no. I retired in 01.
Okay.
So this had to be 98.
It was about 98 or 99, something like that.
Around there.
Something like that.
Because I hadn't played with a band before.
Right.
And so I did a little karaoke. And I got that from the Strike and Spare also. They started doing karaoke there on Friday nights, so I was bowling.
Right.
And I had this challenge. And this girl says, hey, come on up and do a song. I said, I will if you go up with me. So, when they called our name, she panicked. Nigga, I ain't going up there. Oh, yes, you are. So I carried her on stage because I was scared to death. I carried her on stage and sung Benny King, Stand By Me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, like, when I got it started, she kind of got into it. And actually, we harmonized pretty good on accident. It wasn't like Lori.
Oh, right.
But it was, it wasn't bad. And so people start commenting. So, and I said, I feel pretty good. So I started doing karaoke before I went to work because I was working midnights.
Oh, okay.
So I go in and do a couple songs, go to work, and I always felt better. And I go, it's because I worked at prison system, Stateville.
Right.
Maximum security. Worked there for almost 30 years, along with Mel over here, my co-worker. He was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
there for a
Okay.
while, yeah. Oh, yeah, Mel. Yeah, that's some stories. Oh, that's some stories. but, we don't want to go to jail.
Right. So if that was about 1998 or 1999, so that would have put you at what, about 58, 59 years old? Or somewhere late 50s?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's late, around 56, because I was born at 43.
Okay. Well, I was trying to do the math backwards because I know you just had a birthday.
Yeah.
So you were in your late 50s before you even realized or had the idea that, hey, I want to do this. I want to sing in a band. And
Right.
I got a talent.
Yeah, it was another one of those kind of things where, you kind of fall into, partial lies.
Right.
Whereas I was up at Just One More in 01, the same day I retired. That night, I was up at Just One More up on Rainer Theodore. And I was messing with some karaoke. Then this band leader, Mondo Cortez, he came up, he says, we've been trying to kind of blues our band up a little bit. He said, if you know a couple of songs, he says, come down here and sit in with us. We're at the Field House tomorrow night. So you know a couple of songs? I said, sure. I didn't.
Right.
But I was up all that night learning a couple of songs. And so when that Field House did a couple of songs, he goes, yeah, all right. Yeah. And he says, tomorrow night, we're going to be able to Just One More. Now this is getting kind of fast now. He said, if you know 4 songs, come sit in with us. You know 4 songs? I said, yeah. I didn't.
Yeah.
But that night I found a recipe for learning songs. I would listen to a verse. At that time we had to play it, and like on a record or cassette, and I play a verse and then I write it down. And it started imprinting.
That's exactly what I did to learn songs. I would print the words out so I'd have a cheat sheet.
Yep.
But
And
it was
and then it started imprinting.
right.
Okay, now you're talking about going way back. I'm gonna go way back. I'm gonna try to do this quick. Born in Forest City, Arkansas. Age of testing. At the age of 2,
Is this
my mother and father got divorced. So I took the family back over to Tennessee because there wasn't nothing happening in Arkansas. So at 2 years old, I realized this. And I said, hey, look, Mom, this is, let's get out of this state. So we went over to Tennessee like that's better, but it wasn't. Anyway, so I grew up on the farm, sharecropping, about 6 or 7 years old, they trick you into picking cotton. That, oh, look at my man. He all grown up. And they give you a little flour sack, you know, like. So, and they say, you know, I'm in this shit the rest of my life. You know? Yeah.
Hey, go get that big guy over there.
Well, I got a break though. In 1958, we had the audacity to register to vote. Well, in 1958, they didn't care too much for that, especially people that own property, like bosses, plantation owners, and people like that. They didn't really care for it. So we had to leave by dark of night. Moved up to Decatur, where my mother was staying there. So I was living with my grandparents. We moved to Decatur. And from Decatur, I went into service in 64. Got out in 67. Yeah, a little Germany, a little Vietnam, you know.
Little conflict.
Yeah,
Little-
little things got in the way.
Right.
Anyway, came out 67, back to Decatur. So advertisement for a job in Joliet. You know what Joliet was? This is it's up yonder way. Up yonder is north.
Yep.
So you got up north, down south, out west, and back east.
Just go down that way, and then next thing you know, it's like 30 miles, you know, and you think that's just a couple of blocks down the road, you know.
Just a piece yonder.
Yeah.
Just a piece yonder.
And then when you come to the fork in the road, take it.
Which one?
Yeah. Well, anyway, that was 1967. I came up here for a job, and I've been here ever since. I worked at Stateville for 2 years, but they not the accommodation, but the health care and stuff like that wasn't very good at all. So I went to Caterpillar for 7 years. They had good hospitalization and dental and all that stuff. And but Nixon messed that up because he said, I'm going to bring your sons home from the war. So they ended the war. Now, all these people that had the seniority that was working at Caterpillar that went into service, their seniority kept going. So there was people there. I had 7 years in, and there was people that were 12 years. They were worried. I said, I better get out of here. So I went, So I went back to Stateville and retired from there. And so so y'all know about the rest of the hookup. That's where I met Mondo, and in fact, I fooled him for 16 years.
Yeah, and that was the Chicago,
Chicago Blues.
the Chicago Blues Angels.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fooled him for 16 years, boy.
And they're still going strong.
Yeah.
They're still playing around.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember where I met you the first time at, Herman. Do you remember?
It could have been the Big Ten.
Was it the Big Ten or Carter's place?
It was Carter's.
Oh, okay, yeah, because Carter's was before that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Carter's. It was on Wednesday nights.
Yep.
That's the first time I met you, Al. Was at Carter's place.
Yeah. And Jeff, I first met at Miss Camille's
Camille's. Yeah.
in Joliet.
And then, of course, last but not least, we got
Too Smooth.
Too Smooth. And from now on, that's his name.
That's his name. That's
Too
what we
Smooth.
call him.
Hey,
That's what we call him. Too Smooth home. See, listen at it. Hey.
Hey.
yeah, the women always want to know, who is that guy?
Too Smooth.
I don't know him.
It's all in the fingers.
Yeah, but I'm from the west side of Chicago. Born and raised. Come from a musical family of 10. That's a whole lot of
10. Wow.
10. And all of them sing or play something, whether it's piano, guitar, drum. Actually, I started playing 8 behind my mother, who was singing practice for her songs that she was going to sing in church. And I remember it was just like it was yesterday. He said, "Oh, William, aren't you tired of tearing them straws out the broom?" Because that's what I would do. I would tear the straws out the broom. And I come home from school one day. I was there.
I never heard it quite put that way before, but yeah. Tearing the straws out of the broom.
Yeah. And she sent me up to Montgomery Ward's. Montgomery Ward. A global guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that thing had a sound on it.
Versus that broom, yeah.
Man.
Brooms are so hard to keep in tune.
Who did the setup on the broom?
Well, you feel wild with it. You get that. You're going to build up your wrist. That's for sure. You'll get that wrist up. But it sounded so good. And a few years goes past, and I actually learned the song. I learned the song on it. Johnny Be Good. And my dad was my biggest critic. He was my biggest critic. Because I was sitting up here trying to impress and play the song. They said, "You need to go back in the back room and practice some more." I said, "Go practice some more."
Herman gonna call that song out on our next gig. You watch.
You know it. You know that's going to happen.
Well, that's going to end this interview right there.
No, but you know what? He's going to sneak it in, though, because it's going to be on the back end of something else, and it's going to turn into something else, and it's going to go for 20 minutes.
Herman will do stuff like, he'll go, "Hey, Mel, you got this, right? This song." He goes, "Johnny Be Good, man." Whatever
rip.
the key, right?
Every rip. You know this, right? You got this? But I finally got it. I knew I had it because he come in the house from work one day and actually played the introduction on it. And next thing you know, he skipped across the floor. I got him. So from that point on, it was me playing guitar. I wouldn't put it down for nothing.
Right.
Learning licks. I mean, I was learning jazz. I was learning country and western. I was learning blues. I was definitely learning gospel. Playing gospel. When I reached my teens, I started playing for this group called the Victory Travelers out of Chicago. And I played with them from 78 to 95.
Wow.
And then other than that, I had a group that when I was in the service called the Voices of Truth that I formed when I was in the service. And I love playing, and I love putting my heart into it, and I'm ready to drive it. I will drive it. Mm-hmm. So all I can say then at that point, because I like to play with the spirit of the realm, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when you get into that realm and it's like, okay, everything goes dark and you no longer playing now. It's actually the realm, the spirits of the realm that's playing for you, playing through you, you know? And I love to reach that point to where I say, okay.
Where you go somewhere else.
I'm in that zone. I'm in that realm at that point.
You're out your body at that point.
I'm in the realm at that point.
That's the
And my mother, when I used to back her up, she stopped me too now. Wait a minute, son. Hold on. She put that, and she could talk about things. Oh, wow. Her voice with a microphone or without a microphone. Yeah. It would fill a room. It would fill, and she would make you feel it. And that's what she told me. Don't you play that thing behind me unless you feel it. Huh? So when I learned to feel it, I said, let it go. That means I got to get out of the way,
right,
and let the spirits of the realm come in and play. Right. And I've been playing that way ever since.
That's why it's hard to stop your behind.
when I get in there, yeah, because it feels so great. It feels so good. And my thing is, I like to play to the point where if I don't feel it, I ain't expecting you to feel it. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's the way I play. And I enjoy playing. I enjoy playing for people, and I love it because you never know what's on a man's mind.
Right.
So, and I play to lift the spirit. That's what I do. Lift one up. And that's my whole life on this. Oh, when that chill out, man. These guys, the Hurricane Project. You know, can't leave the Hurricane.
Oh yeah, these guys. See, he was in the realm right now, and he forgot that you were sitting in the room.
I did.
Look, my man Herman here. He was. What was the group you was ready to say? What you wanted the CD for?
Oh no, you mean at your house?
Yeah.
The one we recorded. No, I just it was for the family.
Oh, those-
So I just did it was karaoke music.
Right.
It was karaoke music to some songs, like Georgia and Otis Redding and stuff like that. And he said, hey, I got that stuff in the house. I said, what stuff? Recording studio. So, yeah. Now, at this time, I didn't even know he played guitar,
Oh.
And I found out it was much later that I found out that he's playing guitar because he's with JoJo, and I can't think of the guy name that used to be here all the time that used to live here, guitar player, band leader. Anyway, I saw him sit in with them on a gig, and I was blown away, But lost my train of thought again. I just had an 80th birthday.
Yeah. So the first time I ever heard the word hurricane in reference to this group or to Al, this is one thing that a lot of people don't know about him. He said he tinkers. He is a guitar expert when it comes to repairing guitars. And he's fantastic with amplifiers. He can repair amplifiers and hot rod amplifiers and stuff. And I started to see on the internet that if you ever brought your guitar or your amplifier or your bass guitar or whatever to him, he would say it got hurricaned.
It got hurt.
It got hurricaned.
Yeah.
And after I'd seen that a few weeks, all of a sudden I see these posts about the Hurricane Project. And I was like, oh, so it's a Hurricane Project. We got a band now. And that was pre-COVID, right? It was pre-COVID. So how did that all come about? Who was the first person you called and said, I want you by my side as I do this?
Well, me and I think we probably as a band been playing together for about 7-8 years. And me and Tony Medina used to go out to this jam on Monday nights that Billy Branch used to host. I can't think of the name of the place. It's not there anymore. And he said, man, we should start doing our own thing,
Leaves on band.
No, it wasn't Leaves. What Billy used to play at all the time.
Yeah, on Monday nights.
On Monday nights.
I thought it was Leaves on band.
Not Leaves Unleaded. But anyway, so it was kind of like between that and my buddies, Mike Whelan, Toronzo Cannon, and Vino Loud and all them guys, man, you need to start doing your own thing, And
was this place called Artists?
Artists. That's it. Artists. And so I knew just from working with other bands that when you want to put a band together, one of the first things that they ask you got any gigs lined up?
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody gonna get together and practice in their basement for a month without no gigs lined up. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, who can I get? I had a couple of gigs lined up, but who can I get that I felt comfortable with that can do these gigs without a hitch, with no problem?
Very, very minimal rehearsal time.
No rehearsal.
Right.
No rehearsal. We didn't rehearse. Who could I call and do this? And most of these guys I played with or done gigs with before. So I told Tony, I'm gonna put something together, man. He goes, what you gonna call it? And I said, the Hurricane Project. And he goes, okay, shouldn't it be Al Spears and the Hurricane Project? And I said, nah, I don't want my name in front of it, just the Hurricane Project. And he said, well, why the project? And I said, because you never know who's going to be on that gig. We might have a different guitar player or keyboard player or something. So it was a project. And, and that just coincided with my tinkering and all of that stuff with electronics. And then I called Herman and I asked Herman, I said, Herman, you want to do this gig with me, man? He goes, sure. And I was telling her that's sure.
You know some songs? Oh, sure, I know some songs. But he didn't.
He didn't.
Well, Herman has done I've done gigs with Herman, and he's booked gigs, and I've played guitar on some of his gigs that he booked, and, he's done some singing. So I said, I'll call Herman. I already knew Jeff would do it. Jeff is like, he was the second person that I called, and he's like, yeah, when's the first gig? And then I called Tony, and our bass player, our first bass player was Roosevelt Johnson. May he rest in peace. Mm-hmm. And that was the beginning of it, and then, we didn't practice probably the first 100-something gigs that we did together. Right. We didn't do no practicing because we're not one of those bands that, you might hear the beginning of a song and recognize the song. But as Melvin said, we taking you somewhere else. Right. We trying to get you, if you feel something, then we done our job, Otherwise, you can just put a quarter in the jukebox and, they don't need a band. Mm-hmm. So it's been, Jeff, Herman, Tony Medina, that's the core. They've always been part of the Hurricane Project, and I'm glad to have them as part of the Hurricane Project. And I think Melvin is probably the newest member because he showed up. Can I tell this quick story about how Melvin got
Absolutely.
All right, go back to Hollywood Howard.
Oh yeah, Hollywood was in the we had Hollywood was in the band. We had what was the other guy's name? The guitar player.
Bluebird.
Yeah, Blue Jay. We had Blue Jay.
Yeah, Blue Jay. I forgot him.
Yeah, we had Blue Jay. So we had.
Sorry, Blue Jay, they forgot you.
Having two guitar players in a band that can gel is very, very difficult.
Right.
And most musicians don't listen to what everybody else is doing, on stage. Everybody want to solo over everybody else. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. So we at this gig, the Hurricane Project, we was at this gig, and I'm on break. I'm outside. My son and his wife was at this gig, and I go out to have a cigarette, and Melvin comes out. And he's having a cigarette, and he introduced himself. And he said, I hear you need a guitar player.
I wonder who told him that.
and I said, I'm looking at him, and I'm going, who could have told you that? I mean, I got a guitar player. And I said, you want to play some? Because that's how we do. If you show up at one of our gigs and you're a musician, we're going to let you sit in and do something. Because that's, we're a big musical family. That's what blues is. And he said, no, I don't have a guitar with me. I said, you can use mine. And he goes, no, I'll catch you on the next one. And I was like, okay, cool. And he showed up. I called him. I don't know whether I called you or you called me, but he showed up at Johnny Blitz. At a gig. I asked him if he wanted to do this gig with us because the other guitar player couldn't make it. And I'm one of those guys that if you keep missing my gig and I get a replacement for you and I like what they do, I'm probably going to stay with that person that I replaced you with. Right. Right. And Melvin came in there, man, I never will forget it. He had on, and I like to dress, He came in there with starched blue jeans.
Creases. Come in his creases.
A starched shirt. He was there early. He was over there tuning his guitar up, doing, what he's supposed to do for the gig. And he said, I said, hey man, this gig don't pay a lot, man. Just so you know. He goes, man, I'm playing for the love of it, man. I ain't playing for nothing else. I said, my man. And he was in ever since.
Yeah.
Right.
But that same night though that he approached you, I had talked to him about like trying to get in the band, and evidently he thought I'd already talked to you. That's when he comes and says, "Hey, give me the guitar." And later on, Al comes to me going, "Hey, who is that guy?" What guy? And then, he described. I said, "Oh, that's my ride there." I mean, he's boss on the guitar and all that. So like, hey, we oughta get him in there. And so
too smooth.
Once they tried him out once, I knew he sell himself.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I vouched for him, but I knew he was going to sell himself as soon as he did the taking.
Right.
And that smooth stuff.
And one of the other guys that isn't here, Jeff Choate. Who we share.
Yeah.
White chocolate.
That's right. He's a talented individual too.
Oh, yeah.
I always knew him as a trumpet player. The first time we met him was at Uptown, and he came in and he hadn't been playing for a few years. And it was his wife that made him go to Uptown and play. And he just blew everybody away with the trumpet. And when I started talking to him, he said, well, I play the piano as well. And I looked at him like, yeah, right. Whatever. He says, just give me a little time to practice again, because it's been a couple of years. And then one day he showed up with that piano, and I was like, wow, you sure trumpet is your main instrument and not your piano? And he does it. And sometimes he'll go from the piano to the trumpet back to the piano again, all in one song.
Yep.
And the organ too.
Right.
But his wife was saying that she liked his work ethics on his instrument, because is he trying to get the kids in to some things too, and if they see his work ethic that they
it'll carry on.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's next?
We've got, this year we got a bunch of stuff on the books. Friday we're playing, for the rest of the year, actually in 2023 is actually looking really, really good. Comparatively to other years, COVID kind of put a damper on a lot of things, and places shut down, or some places can't afford to really hire, a band. And, I'm really looking at, we probably got about 75 gigs booked throughout the year. You can follow us on Facebook under the Hurricane Project, or my website, www.alhurricanespears.com, or my personal page, Al Spears, or my Instagram page, Al Spears. But Friday night we'll be at Aurora Tap House.
Yes.
9:00. We've got a bunch.
Where will you be? I'm just thinking about when this podcast is going to come out. Where will you be, say, like the 15th of the month and beyond?
February 11th, we're in Aurora doing a private party. February 18th, we're at Johnny Blitz in Westmont. March 18th, we're back at Johnny Blitz. And I love Johnny Blitz because that's our home base.
That's a fun place to play.
Yeah. March 24th, we're at the Joliet Blues Museum. And April 8th, we're back at Johnny Blitz. April 12th, Austin Community Tavern. But,
Yeah. So you got some stuff coming up.
Yeah, it's looking good. Like I said, and it's not, we what?
The kids are giggling again.
They are.
He is trying to read off his phone, without glasses. Oh, he's smooth. He ain't that smooth. He ain't that smooth.
But unfortunately, his arms are too short, though.
But yeah, some of these, some of these gigs are, like local places, but I'm always trying to get to places where, blues ain't really played, or, I play a lot. We play a lot. I'm not me. We play a lot, mostly in the western suburbs. It's easier for all of us. We're local. I also have on Facebook Blues in the Burbs. That's my page that I created about 20 years ago because, my goal is to keep the blues happening in the burbs. And everybody say, blues is easy to play. It's a 1-4-5. But if you ain't feeling it, it ain't the blues, And a lot of people play it too fast, or it's supposed to be slow, or whatever the case may be. But anyway, that's my mission in life,
I'm right there with you.
Is to keep the music happening, especially in the western suburbs, because we shouldn't have to go.
We can hear you guys.
They still trying. Wait,
They're over there ordering a pizza.
I think they're ordering Subway on DoorDash or something.
That's the best one.
They're looking and saying, "Man, I don't have that date he just read off on my calendar."
Which, by the way, Subway, we're looking for sponsors.
Yeah, we are looking. So anybody out there from Subway looking to sponsor this podcast, get a hold of us. All righty, guys. Well, I want to thank you all for coming out.
Thank you for having
chilly
us.
evening. And it was great meeting all of you guys. And I look forward to seeing you real soon.
This is a great place. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out, guys.
Our pleasure.
Well, them guys came in like a hurricane.
Yep, and they left like a hurricane.
And they left like a hurricane.
That was a
Holy
lot of
cow.
fun.
That was a real good time. Great stories.
Yep.
Great stories. Many, many years of musicianship there.
Right. So if you're in the area and you have a chance to go out and see them, their performance, not only will you enjoy the music, but they just tell a story on stage with their performance.
Yeah,
You should go out and see those guys. They are captivating.
Their little banter. I like how they said that they met, they picked each other up at jam sessions.
Right.
Kind of like when we were kids and stuff, and this guy plays guitar, this guy plays guitar, they get together, and then they find another guy that plays, hey, I know a guy down the block plays drums. Let's see if he wants to come over and play with us.
Right. And that's exactly what they do. If you go and see one of their shows and they know who you are, you are not overstepping your bounds. If you showed up with a guitar or a horn or whatever it is that you do, they see you in the crowd and wave to you, they'll wave you up, and they treat their shows almost like an open jam. They like to have their friends go up there and participate with them.
That's awesome. That sounds like a great time. So thanks everybody for listening. Another week has gone by. Join us next Tuesday for the next episode. I believe it's going to be a band called Stereophi. So come back next week and check us out.
We'll talk to you then.
Bye.
The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast is edited by Paul Martin. Theme song courtesy of M&R Rush. The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast does not own the rights to any of the music heard on the show. The music is used to promote the guests that are featured.
Rock and roll, Chicago. Rock and roll.